All right. This is very rare for Detroit is Different to be on location in one of the businesses that we do support. But it's not many businesses that I think I probably patronize weekly. And I seriously probably patronize this place weekly. So if it's 52 weeks in the year, they have vacation like 2 times. I'm just messing with you, but out of that, this is definitely one of the business people that is adding to the fabric of a lot in Detroit, but a lot really just through the honesty, the commitment to what can happen creatively. And really, I'm gonna tell you this, it's sweet. Sweet as in like the slang, colloquialism, and sweet as in the actual definition of the word. Good Cakes and Bakes with April Anderson. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and you?
Good, good. All right, we did this before, and this time I was like, okay, let's do the James Brown feel of all of this stuff with the essence, and it is fall.
It is. This is my time of year.
Okay, all right. It is a time of year as it gets colder. You, like me, are a Capricorn,
Yes,
so
that's
that has some of that energy in it.
Yeah.
But more so than that, this is definitely one of those times when people are thinking, okay, who has the best sweets for our holiday?
Holidays for Thanksgiving, right?
I know.
Exactly. Yeah.
You got to get whole cakes and pies and all types of stuff.
Dinner rolls and all those things.
Yes. And
Yes.
this is one of the places that
This is where you
definitely
should
has
come.
done it.
This is where you should come. Yeah.
All right. So in this community, today is Light Up Livernois, another one of the events.
No, today is our fall fest.
It's the Fall Fest.
Our fall fest. Yes.
Connected to just the groups over here?
Yeah, just connected to the business of Livernois Business Association. Kim down at Skin Bar, she organizes, this is the 4th year I think we've done this.
Okay.
She organizes this each year for the community, for the kids in the neighborhood, in the community to come out and for us to show our appreciation for their support all year.
All right. And I know the story about this location and so much that you poured into this location, but before we even get into that, what is it like to be in a collective with a lot of the other entrepreneurs, especially Black entrepreneurs that are looking to connect and collaborate and grow together?
Yeah, it has its pluses and minuses of it all, but it's great when you are in a community of people who understand the trials and tribulations that you go to as being a Black small business in Detroit. So it's wonderful for that. It's wonderful when you can talk to other business owners and bounce problems and solutions off each other. So it's good. It has its good and its bad to it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you are, even though I guess it's been some years you've been here now. So
Yeah,
how long
12,
you been here?
12 years.
12 years.
12 years, yes.
You almost at 13.
Yes.
Almost a teenager.
I know, right?
In business. All right.
Yes.
But that puts you as like one of the people that's been here for a long period of time. You've seen some people come and go and seen some promises be made and some
not made.
through,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So in that journey, what do you think has been some of the, I guess, fabric that's kept you here in this location and committed to this since 12 years ago?
Yeah. So one of the things that definitely keep us over here is the community. This community from day one has been supportive of us, has shown up for us in times of need, has been there with us through COVID. We made it a point to make sure that when we moved over here that we were talking to the community to find out what it is they were looking for over here so that we could offer that. We wanted to be that third place. And we continue to evolve and grow to make sure that we are being exactly what is needed over here.
Okay, more people are talking about these third spaces and places, especially during this. It's a mayoral year.
Yeah.
So mayoral election saying that we want to have cool things in and around our neighborhoods.
For sure. Definitely.
This has been one of those.
It
What
has.
was the neighborhood saying as you were thinking about coming over here that they were looking for?
So 2 things the neighborhood was saying they wanted. First of all, they wanted a bakery over here that offered a variety of things. And at the time, we were one of few organic bakeries in the city of Detroit that was focused on making sure we're providing fresh, organic, all natural, no preservatives, no artificial flavoring and coloring added to it spaces, right? So that was one thing. But also they wanted a space they could come to and gather and collect, right? Before we did the remodel, the bakery was set up where the community used our space for organization meetings. They used our space for birthday parties, for celebrations. And then during COVID, well, right before COVID, the space was used by the city of Detroit to host community meetings as we was doing the streetscape over here, meeting with the business over here to figure out how do we assist y'all to make sure that we come on the other side of that streetscape, that the business was still here. So this space was definitely from the beginning. We knew we were going to be a third space. We knew that's what we wanted to be. At the time, we didn't have that over here.
Mhm.
We didn't have a space over here where you can come, use our free Wi-Fi, do work, and be in a space where you were welcomed, you was accepted, and we made sure that your experience was good.
All right, so welcome, the experience good, and I'm following everything you're saying, but also, boy, oh boy, one of the things that still is up through most of this election has been the journey for businesses to open and stay open.
Yeah.
You had one heck of a story with this space. Can you share a little bit about that? And how did you navigate working with the city, the county, and the state
Yeah.
to get open?
So yeah, exactly. So when we first came in, when we first was coming into this space, this was a retail space. It was a teacher store one time, and then it became an African shop, and so it was not set up for a bakery, right? And I don't know what was going on at the city. So when we first were about to open, you have to remember, a month after the announcement of what was coming over here,
Mhm.
FBI came and shut down BC's, walked in there and arrested every inspector. So as we were in the process about do our build out, we had no inspectors over here.
Okay, so BC, so people know, that's definitely one of those. It's like the building inspections.
Yeah, building safety, engineer, electrical department, right?
Mhm.
And so that's the space where you go to. That's the inspectors who come out and inspect the building to make sure the building is up to code for whatever it is that you're doing in that space. They're the ones that come out to find you for electrical, like your signage and stuff like that. So you need those inspectors to come out as you're doing a build out. You go, you pull your permits, they come and check it before you finalize it. We didn't have that over here. That was number one. Number two is that we didn't have the capital to build a kitchen when we first came into this space. So we were going into a shared kitchen. I was baking every day after shared kitchen, and I was bringing it over here, and we were selling it here. And we first opened, this area was not set up for walkable traffic. There was not enough things over here for people to just park their car and walk. So people who were coming here, they were coming here coming on Living Lakes for Good Cakes and Bakes, right? And so getting people to come over here was a challenge because people were set up to patronize the 7.2 miles of Detroit that had got millions and millions of dollars of renovation and investment into it, which was downtown, Midtown, Courtown, right? And so this area wasn't until 2016 when Cuzzo's opened that it became a little bit more walkable over here. Cuzzo's open and it brought a different demographic over here. And when that happened, it allowed us to open up our space to a different type of crowd, right? And then in 2019, when they did the renovation of the streetscape over here, that really crippled a lot of businesses over here. And us being one of those businesses, it was challenging because people couldn't park over here. And then sometimes they couldn't even walk over here because the sidewalk was being done. And so the city, I don't think they understood the magnitude of what they were about to do over here. And so once they realized that, this can be crippling and how it's gonna look, that y'all came over here to revitalize the streetscape over here, and then the business is over here closing, and what that means is this area is the largest African-American owned building and business in the United States. And at the rate they were going, over 50% of the business over here would have closed down. And so they used our space. They came in here. They gave money for advertisement. They gave out low interest loans to the business over here who wanted it. They tried to fix the mess that they had started.
Okay, so when you talk about that, just navigating and just walking in, the relationship with the city and a lot of just the government, it's always up and down. I think for any business
for
owner,
sure.
not just black business owners, but with black business owners, everything's different.
Yeah, exactly.
How was it as the city said, okay, now we're thinking about helping you all? How do you navigate who to work with politically when you're staying in business?
So we try and be a neutral party, right? Until it affects us. And I will say that when Mayor Duggan came into office, he knew the problems that Black business was having. And when I say that, I mean, there was a lot of investments coming into Detroit in 2013, 2014. And when those funds was coming into the city, businesses like mine wasn't getting those fundings. It was going to new white businesses that was coming into the city, and more so because they had the resources to have a person to go and find those resources. Well, usually when you're a Black business, you working inside your business, so you don't have the time to go to these different events and workshops that they have and where they telling you about the funding. By the time we hear about the funding, they ain't got no funding left, right? They ain't got nothing left. So he knew of that, the plight of that, and he brought together 30 to 40 Black businesses and asked us, what is that you need? What is it I can do? And one of the things that we needed over here was we needed to be able to get licensed in this space. And we was having the hardest time. We had been open for 15 months and we could not get licensed in here because this area was not zoned for what we wanted to do. They kept telling us that we had to be licensed as a carry-out restaurant because we had a hot water tower.
Yeah.
And to do that, it required us to have a hood in here, it required us to have a grease trap, the things that we was not going to use. And I didn't have the money to waste it on that just to be able to get open. Told the mayor about that, and he opened up the zoning over here.
Wow.
Within 30 days, he opened up the zoning, and we were able to get licensed. And we were able to start building our space out so we can bake here. So just listening to listening to what we were saying and going and getting the work done. He's done that over and over throughout his term here. City council members throughout their term have talked to us. Mary Sheffield, one of those people who, this ain't even her area, but she would tell her problems, she was working on it. Scott Benson told him problems, this ain't his area, but they both support the bakery, they both come here, told him about some of the pains that we were having, and they took it to the table to fix it. So when it comes to that, I will speak loud, very loud and proud when politicians are doing what they say they're going to do, outside of what they're saying while they're on the campaign trail.
Okay.
Action speaks louder to me than your words.
And being that in that journey and navigating that, you talked about working. It's that phrase. What is it? Are you working on your business or working in your business?
And I've done both.
And it's definitely one of those things where, depending upon where you're at and how, here's another business term, scaling up.
Yeah.
And what capacity you have.
Yep.
That working on your business is basically working the plan and it moving and everything you see, and working in your business is sometimes you're opening, closing, running so much that you don't even necessarily have time to think about what's next.
Exactly. You don't have time to think about what's next, because right now, what you're trying to do, you're just trying to stay open that day.
Yeah.
And some people that when they open a business, that's exactly what they want to do. They open a business because of the love that they have for that creative skill or whatever. They want to do that, and that's okay. It's nothing wrong if a person opens a business and want to work in a business. But if your goal is not to be a lifestyle business, then you got to figure out how you're going to work on your business. And the best way to do that is making sure that you put people in place that can help you run the business so you can work on the business.
Okay. And we're going to come back to that, because we've had definitely discussions over time about how to pick the right people. And I kind of look at it like when I was in music, never surfed, but the whole concept of it is you catch that wave and you ride it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the wave can ride for 5 years. Maybe that wave lasts for 6 months.
Yeah.
But it's hard because we're dealing with any type of relationship. The goals and the vision of what I see as success versus the goals and the vision of what others see as success is completely different. Even walking in today, if people know Michelle, definitely one of the people, your partner, people hands down. I saw her wiping off some of the walls. And I was like, boy, you could tell an owner when you see an owner.
Exactly,
because things like that are just what owners pay attention to. Some of the most minute details for a person that's just working.
Exactly. They're not paying attention to that. They don't see that. But being an owner, you see all those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're thinking like, oh man, I got to do this. I got to do that.
Yeah.
And finding that teammate that will have that understanding, work and the arm's length transaction meets up in the middle where we trust each other and we kind of
Yeah.
know each other.
Mhm.
And that's where I say like the waves. And sometimes
Yeah.
different things shift and things happen in people's lives, and that can change people's perspective about work, their purpose, their vision, what they see as even an opportunity.
Yeah.
So really, when we think about working with others, how do you gauge the opportunities that you think a lot of people that have succeeded here most, what are they looking for? What's the opportunity that they get from being a part of this team?
So there's several opportunities that I feel people get. And what I had to learn is that money isn't the motivator because, I would pay good wages, offering some benefits, but that's not what people want. People want to feel valued
Mm.
as well as they want to know that what they're doing matters.
Mm.
And so that took a lot. I'm still learning. I'm still learning because I feel I have I have these tunnels on that I got to get stuff done. I don't have time to offer you accolades and praises. I pay you. I feel like that shows my appreciation, right? But that's not what people want. So making sure that you listen to value people's opinions, take in consideration opinions, but also be understanding to stuff that's going on in people's lives. Those are all things that I'm still working on. Let's be clear.
I think
Yes.
I think that is possibly more of, they may say, the cross to bear as Capricorns, period. Because at times, even I was at a conference not long ago, and somebody was presenting to me the idea of what they have for their podcast, and they were presenting new ideas to me, and she was looking, I think, for a little bit more edification. And I'm not against that, but my presence of mind when I'm working through things is not necessarily, I guess, pouring in and uplifting. Not saying I'm
Yes.
against it, but it's like I have to be in that zone of like, okay, here we go. Like I say, I come here almost every week, and then it's like, yeah, this is good. I expect it to be good, and it's rare when I say, yo, this is something new, dynamic. You were right. I tried it. I liked it, but that still may take 2 or 3 weeks
Yeah,
in
exactly. Yeah,
understanding of
exactly.
like where people are at in flow and
Mhm.
what that focus is. But for everyone else, if you know a Capricorn, no, it's a lot of love there, but a lot of stuff still processing in the
Exactly.
Capricorn
And it ain't
mind.
coming out like that. You're gonna get this stoic face.
Yes.
And it's gonna be like, oh, it's not wrong, nothing wrong. I'm just thinking about it. I'm thinking about what you said. I gotta work it out in my mind to figure out, like, before I can give you information, I need to be able to know. You're giving me something that I don't know, and I'm a person, it's black and white. It ain't no gray area, it's black and white. Either it's working or it ain't gonna work, and I'm gonna tell you. Yeah.
And also like associations. Like my mind is always associating, okay, what is this? What is that? How does that connect? But then you step back and it's like, all right, now let's put the creativity.
There you go, yeah.
And the creativity of this space is so dynamic, even as I'm looking at all the mix of products that you have and then the products that you bring on. Things are so intentional and thought out.
Yes, everything.
But also the creativity of it. What do you creatively, like, what are you doing to inspire yourself to say, okay, I want to try this, I want to try that? I know a couple different things that you do, but now I want you to share with the people.
So several things that I love trying new baked goods, right? Coming up with new ideas. We do a lot of traveling, and we go to bakeries out of state just to see what's new, trending. And even though we're not one of those trendy bakeries where we try every trend, I'll try it if it relates to me. Like, right. Like that Dubai chocolate thing was going around. And I was like, wanted to do it, still might do something with it. But I couldn't figure out how to bring that into what we do. Like, that's not part of, I stand on my Southern roots. I stand on that. And how do I incorporate that into that? And I haven't got that yet. So that's why we don't have it yet. I'm not about to just bring something just because that's what's on Instagram. It has to connect with me and has to connect with our story.
And when you talk about your story on Instagram right now, it's a whole lot more content that adds personality. So many people are like, oh, I didn't even know April that cool. I'm like, April mad cool. You know what I'm saying?
So that's Chrissy doing. She's like, you got to. We did one time just to do it, and we got so much engagement. And it still amazes me that people engage more when I'm a part of it.
Mm.
And so people now get to see my personality because people see me and I'm always like business, business, business. And so they don't never get to see me like in a joking way or getting to say some of the things that I really do want to say for real, but I can't say. So if I say it in a kind of a jokey kind of way, people will accept it.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Okay. All right. And this season, 2025, it's been it's been tough for some. Some have found some opportunities, but just due to a lot of things that are happening federally, it's having impacts everywhere.
Everywhere. And it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
So, what adjustments have you seen some of your friends in business make? What preparations are you making? As even now, it's like I see it just going to the grocery store, like the slight, how much more stuff costs, and I'm still
Yeah.
buying, and it's a blessing that I can still buy what I want to buy. But pound for pound, I love salmon or salmon, however
Yeah.
you say it. But
Please say
last
right.
year, I think I was paying probably for what I'm getting now. I may have to pay $32 for what I was getting for maybe like $23.50, $24 last year.
See? And that's across the board. That's everything. Prices has gone up. And so for us, how it affects us is that we definitely have to pay a little attention to okay, sorry. See, there you go.
See, I know.
Everything. But making sure that we are intentional about what we buy, focusing and honing in on minimizing our waste, but also lean. We got to be very lean when it comes to staffing, when it comes to making sure that we are thinking and intentionally on how we use staff, because of labor is high. It's always been high here, but our margins are getting tighter, and when margins getting tighter, I can't lay off people, so I have to figure out other things to do so that I'm able to keep my employees. Because again, my employees' livelihood relies on a certain amount of hours each week, right?
Yeah.
But I am also a business person, and I know that I can't run my business according to how people's bills. I have to run it according to what makes sense for us. So that's what working on the business come in at, is that I'm always thinking and figuring out ways to get more traffic, get more business so that I'm able to keep my staff.
So you talk about just those margins, and we've talked like this too before. Like this is really that business concept, and profit margins can be very slim, and that's why I think food businesses are so tough, because the prices are always variable
every week,
and that
week.
Waste, as you say, like even like some of the equipment I had here before, and then you go back there and it's like, yep, bakery. So it makes sense, all these milk cartons stacked up, but something like how much milk you buy, how many eggs you buy, what flour is, what used to be possibly like let's do an order every 10 days may become like, how do you move like 4 days when you're going lean? Is that more like your accounting system? Is that more so in the ordering process? What are you doing?
All those things. So our ordering process. So trying to make sure that we are getting the most out of our ingredients. So not making things where we got to have 20 different ingredients to make different stuff, right? So trying to get, for example, making as many things as we can with like lemon, many things we can make with lemon, so that we're able to minimize our supplies that we have to have in the bakery, right? Making sure that we are, again, hone in on our standardized recipes so that people are making the products and they're not messing them up. That's a real big thing in food, is waste, and not waste as far as throwing away stuff, waste of people making errors in preparing stuff.
Yeah.
So paying attention to that, but more so just paying attention to the ingredients that we use inside the bakery. That's when I say like trying new stuff is, right now it's not the time for us to be trying new ingredients and stuff, because stuff is very expensive.
Yeah, and you can't take the gamble on like, okay, let's try something like, let's try the spice cake that I got in New Orleans.
Right,
or something.
exactly, right.
And it's like, if you don't really nail it, you don't have 2 days worth of
labor
to do.
Exactly. So you got to think about the ingredients that you're doing, labor, and all of those things. Yeah.
Okay, and with that though, as this is, as you say, like the fall season and what you plan, you've built different systems where you do sell more of the cakes, sell like, it's a different feel in and around that Thanksgiving and holiday time. How have you prepared your customers for the shifts that happen in holiday time so they're more understanding of what to get from Good Cakes and Bakes?
So two things is that understanding, like letting them know, like how do they place their orders. Like we do pre-ordering, real big on pre-ordering, and then also like the day before we allow people to come in and buy. For those who are just stubborn and don't want to pre-order,
Hilarious.
it's crazy, but they do it, and so making sure we have stuff for that. But it works better for us when people pre-order. So we again working on that waste. So focusing on making sure that our staff is telling our customers when they come in to pre-order, making sure that on social media newsletters that we're talking about pre-ordering so people know. More so because we want to make sure everybody's able to get what they want for the holidays. Because when you come in, we have limited things when you come in on the last day. And we don't want nobody to be disappointed. So making sure we're doing that. But also we are listening to our customers, because last year customers like, oh, I wish I could just buy a couple slices because it's just me and my spouse or me and my son or whatever. And so previous years it was like, nope, that's not an option. It's only whole cakes. That's all we offering. And so now this year we will offer individual for those who don't have a big family, who don't need a whole cake or something like that. We'll have some slices and we'll have some half-pound cakes and half pies and stuff like that. So just listen to our customers, to listen to what they are asking for and seeing how we can incorporate that.
Okay. And another beautiful thing that I love here is the family aspect and the dynamic that exists. Your mom is like probably one of the coolest people to always work here and put in that time, but also has grown to appreciate it. But it's even more family dynamics because it's like little ones here and everything. What have you seen in sharing in business with family? Because sometimes people feel as though like family and business don't mix, which I always think is not the truth.
Always the truth, sir.
Please share what that has been for you.
So it has its ups and downs. My mother definitely has been here from the beginning. She is super supportive. She come in here, ache through pains or whatever, right? So, but that's that mother's love, right? But then you have I have had other family members who work here who felt like they was doing me a favor, even though they were getting paid. They felt like they were doing me a favor. They would call in, oh, I'm going out. Or, we having this family event, but you didn't request that day off. So, taking advantage of that. So you have that. You have the family members who come here and want to use the bakery as their grocery store. Like, oh, I'm going on my friends. I'm coming up there to get cupcakes and cookies. Yeah, that's not how that works. So it's a plus and minus. I have been totally blessed to have my mother, my niece, who's been working with us since she was 8 years old. She took a stint away when she turned 16. She's like, I need to go work with some young people. I work with a bunch of old people at the bakery. But she came back. And so that's why you see my beautiful nephew who's here when you come up here sometime. I love when he's here with us. But so it has its pluses and minuses. I have just been blessed to work with family and have that family support who want me to succeed, who want me to win, and I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure that happens.
I really do think that it's such a beautifully dynamic piece to see, especially the intergenerational tie, as when we think of the way that some workplaces look at what childcare can be. And this is that space where the youngest is still welcome. And, I can only imagine in a couple of years, he's going to be...
going to be in there. I'm going to put him to work. I'm going to put him to work. Oh, I'm going to put him to work.
Exactly. So, like, these connections and community seeing that connection too, because I just think that that's really a part of like how we do business. I'm speaking to this, but what is the response that you see from others in community as they see you work with family and have business?
So some people are just like in a maze that they like, oh, I don't know if I could work with my mother. I don't know if I could work with, family members. But it's just like setting boundaries. So again, we have a handbook, and the handbook applies to everybody. my mother included.
Mm.
Everybody must follow it. So having those policies and procedures, and that will help eliminate it. And if you make it clear from the beginning that everybody follows this,
Mhm.
and even with my mom, I brought on a manager, and my mother, I had to be real, I had to have a conversation with my mother, like,
Mm.
hey, I'm bringing on a manager. You're gonna listen to this person.
Mhm.
Because mothers can be like, "Oh, I ain't listening to nobody. It's my..."
Mhm.
Nope, that's not how it works. You're gonna listen to this person. And so setting those rules, setting those understandings real clear has helped us.
Okay.
Mhm.
And also in this same system, you've been very committed to working with a lot of entrepreneurs. You've
Mhm.
given back to Bill,
Mhm.
Michelle over at Prosper Us.
Mhm.
You're a part of this Detroit entrepreneurial ecosystem that looks completely different today than when you were starting, which was more around the tech startup. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
hard to think to yourself like, okay, 14, 15 years ago,
Yep.
it's like if you didn't have an app, people weren't even thinking about
They
giving
weren't
you
they weren't
anything.
talking to you at all, right?
But you've been in this for a while and have some strong relationships with other businesses that you've seen grow.
Mhm.
Some still sticking, some not, some reworking plans and everything. What
Yeah.
has been your commitment to the entrepreneurial ecosystem of Detroit?
So one thing is I always want to make sure that people don't have the struggles that I had. And if there's anything that I can do to help with that, I'm going to do it. But I also love working with younger people. I love their creativity. I love the way they think outside the box.
Mm.
They still got a lot to learn, but their thought process is totally different.
Mhm.
So while I'm helping them, honestly, they helping me as well.
You learning some things.
I'm learning some things
What
too, right?
was some of the things that you've been picking up offhand that was colorful that you got from some Gen Z?
So a couple things. Well, social media, number one. Social
Mhm.
media, they have it, they understand it.
Yep.
But a lot of them, they're not fearful. They didn't grow up with the same type of mentality that we grew up where you need to work for somebody. Entrepreneurship was not something that was, for me anyway, it was not something that was talked about. It was not something that was encouraged.
Mhm.
Encouragement was going to get a job that required that you're going to work for 30 years, get a pension, and retire, right?
Mhm.
So that's not how this
Mm.
generation is being taught.
Mm.
They're being taught to work for themselves.
Mhm.
They're being taught to think outside the box, and they question everything.
Yeah.
They question everything. We were growing up when we was told it was you listen, you don't
Yes.
ask questions.
What
They're
Stone
asking
Cold
questions.
says so.
Yeah, exactly. What's
Mhm.
said is you just listen. So they're asking questions, and
Mhm.
because they're asking questions, it requires you to think differently.
Hmm.
You say, "Don't do it this way." Why? Why can't I do it to her? And so to be able to explain, I used to just be like, "Because I said so." 'Cause
Yeah.
that's what I was told, right? But that don't make sense. That's not right. And so it requires me to think a little bit more to give them the answer, to explain to them why you can't do it that way, why it should be done that way, why we do it this way. So yeah.
So in these dynamics, as you're learning more and more about the I guess their generation and how they're responding to things, and you're picking that up, how do you put that into your business more so as those questions are asked?
So one of the things that is that when I was saying earlier about how I'm learning to give accolade, give acknowledgement.
Mhm.
I That's something that I didn't get growing up, and I don't feel the reason why you need that.
Mhm.
If you're doing what you're supposed to do, then
It's like your paycheck.
exactly. Your paycheck. But more so, I had the mindset that if I'm not telling you doing something wrong, then you're doing it right.
Yes.
So I had to change that because they
Yes.
need that.
Mhm.
And so I feel like I was losing staff, not
Mhm.
because this is a bad place to work, not because I was overworking them, but because they wasn't feeling appreciated because I wasn't telling them that they was doing a good job.
Yep, and it's interesting you speak to that. I'm gonna do I'm gonna be talking to you about that too. But I want to do this thank you celebration for Detroit is Different, which I don't know where you're doing Sunday, November 16th, but I definitely want to give back to so many of the people that have helped create what we've been doing
Oh, see?
and been connected to. And I guess I see that encouragement, especially some of the younger guys. I've had been learning a whole lot from my young team in that same zone. But what I've picked up really is also what attention and the details that they're paying attention to. I guess you
Mhm.
always hear like these young people are really watching what you do,
Yeah.
but they're really
Mhm.
watching what you do.
Exactly.
So it changes my attitudes on site and everything. Not saying like I have bad attitudes or anything, but it's like, all right, now I have to like move a certain way. Differently about like, okay, let's do this. Let's actually cross every T. Let's dot every
Mhm.
I,
Yep.
because if I'm not, then that's gonna leave something where now they're like, well, that's what he does already, and turning over a lot of those stones. And when
Mhm.
we do it together and it is fulfilled, it's like, hey, I think that this is something, given opportunities. Like, I think you'll gravitate well to this. I really think that this will be something you excel at.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Mhm.
Hell,
Yeah. And so they really need that. And so that's one of the things that I'm constantly learning
mm,
is that me not saying something, even when somebody do something good,
mhm,
okay, I ain't got nothing to say. You did something, you did it right.
mhm.
But they need that. Like, oh, dang, you did a good job today.
Yeah.
And so I'm still working on that because that's not part of my who I
Usual.
am. Right. That's not my
Yes.
usual. But I know that's what they need. That's what
Mhm,
they need and want. And so I don't keep having turnover. I'm trying to adjust that.
mhm.
So it's either that or also bring it on a manager who can do that for me.
I got you.
There you go.
That's with it. I'm with it. I'm with it. So in that same space, as we get closer to a close in this discussion, and we still definitely got to carry on. You should know April's like one of my favorite people. You all can connect with it well, but especially so much about business. Now let's talk a little bit about community. This neighborhood is one of those like staples, as you say, in Black entrepreneurship for the
Mhm.
nation. What do you see moving forward for what's going to happen? Not just because of the political landscape, but more
Yeah.
so just period. Some of the people here are getting older, which brings in some new people.
Mhm.
What do you see for this community?
So I feel like this community is continuing to shift, and more so, I feel like it's shifting because of the people just moving around us,
Mm,
and the businesses over here are actually starting to pay attention and are up in. I guess I want to say up in there. They're paying attention to the type of people coming over here.
hmm,
Because before, when we first opened over here, a lot of the business that were here before we came, they were so used to just being inside their business, like not participating in community activations over here because they was just like so
mhm,
used to doing what they were doing. But I guess they're seeing that by participating, I'm getting opportunity to get new clients, getting opportunities to get new customers.
mhm.
They are coming like to meetings, they're coming out and they're participating a little bit better. So I feel like the more that happens, the more people will come over here because right now it's sometimes it feels like I'm on my own island.
Mm,
Sometimes I feel like I'm on my own island over here because everybody is so used to just working
mhm.
and they didn't understand the collaboration type of thing over here. But the more that we do stuff and the more that we talk about stuff, I think people are actually getting to see how collaboration, participation brings the community out and it helps their business.
Wow.
It's helping their business as
Mhm,
well. So somebody coming here for Good Cakes and Bakes, if the front of your space is clean and your windows are clear and people can see what you got, they gonna stop in there too.
mhm.
Yeah, I'm bringing them over here, but you gotta keep them over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so unique because just in that time, when you and, down the street Fame
Mhm.
got over here, you all were like new kids on the block based
Yeah,
on so
exactly.
many of the businesses that have been
Mhm.
here for so long. But
Yes.
now you guys are like, you know,
OGs
OGs
over
over
here
here.
now, right, exactly, yes, exactly.
you know,
Yes,
and
mhm.
some of the places that I thought would be here for forever are no more,
Yeah.
and new places and spaces are connecting. As I get to a close, what would you say for those businesses that are thinking about coming over to this neighborhood? What should they prepare themselves for, and how should they connect?
So one thing I would say, if a business wants to come over here on Livernois, make sure that I tell people all the time, make sure when you come into a community, is you're coming to a community, you bringing what a community needs, right?
Hmm.
So I tell people you should go talk to us. These associations over here are very active. They
Mm-hmm.
host meetings.
Mm-hmm.
The residents over here listen to their community leader. So go to the meetings, set up a survey. Ask them what they're missing. What's missing over here? And when you figure out what's missing over here, bring it. And don't just bring it top tier, good customer service, good a good experience when people come in, being consistent with your hours. Because one thing I would say is this community, they support you, but they also hold you accountable. They hold you accountable. If you say you open at 8 o'clock, you open at 8 o'clock. Because they're going to let you know if you're not. So don't come over here if you're not coming over here to give your all. And if you come over here and you give your all, you are going to thrive over here. You're going to thrive over here. That's what I tell people all the time.
I love it. And with that, thank you again so much.
I love it. I love when we talk. I love when we talk.
Definitely. And then, April's also like one of like the biggest Detroit is Different people. She pulls me to the side like, did you get? I was like, yeah, I did. It's coming. So thank you so much for all your support of Detroit is Different.
Definitely.
As I dropped her something from Brazelton, another one of them Black businesses I love.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
I love it.
Peace.
See y'all later.
That is a Detroit is Different.